Hello, everybody. We will wait for like 2 or 3 minutes, but meanwhile, you can join us on Slido. You can either scan this QR code or go to slido.com and type in the AI strategically. If you already joined that Slido, you can ask questions right away, and I will get to all of your questions at the end of the presentation. How can we effectively integrate our business model with AI to achieve a significant breakthrough? How can we start using AI without spending a fortune and make an impact? These and the many other questions are frequently asked by our clients, and that's why we've decided to create a series to help you with finding the right use cases and help you finding the way to use AI to better your business. So if you're struggling with these and you're asking yourself the same questions, you're in the right place. My name is Miroslava Filchakova, and I will guide you through this series. I come from a company called Good Request, and we have a background in software development, and we have a lot of talented and experienced people, and we have experience with creating many digital products. In this series, we're going to focus on 3 main areas. We would like to demystify AI, help you identify impactful AI opportunities, and offer actionable and really understandable steps for the implementation. As I said in the beginning, you can join us on Slido. And at the beginning, I would like to ask you, how confident are you in your AI knowledge? Okay, so I can see that most of you have at least some experience with AI. It's really good. But most of you still need some studying. So I hope that maybe I will be able to answer some of your questions within this presentation. If you have any of them now, you will be able to ask them. Okay, so when I was preparing for this presentation, I was thinking that maybe I should cover some basics about how AI works, but then I realized that it doesn't really matter, and I think that we don't need to understand into detail unless we are like AI engineers or developers. And actually, none of our clients ask that. So maybe what we can focus on is how we can use AI, and we should set like the real expectations and know what can be achieved and what cannot be achieved. So I've created like these examples of what types of AI are out there based on intended use. So like the first one is content creation. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I'm sure most of you are aware with that. I think that nowadays is the one that's mostly used, and you can generate basically anything you want. But the interesting one here might be visual data analysis. So this is something that's being used in many industries to understand and extract the information from the images or video, and get it to structured form so it can be processed and worked within other systems or applications. The really interesting use is also language understanding, because when we work with language or human language in text or speech form, it's really important to extract the meaning from this language, and AI can also help us with that. Then there is a future trend prediction or customer behavior and preference and threat detection and security. These use cases are really good because AI can find the patterns and trends in the data, and it can make a decision based on this data and these patterns it finds, but also it gives it the opportunity to find something that is not right and find some flaws and find maybe some violations, and it's a really good use case as well. So as I said before, setting your expectations right is really important. And even though there is a lot of information nowadays about AI and it's really sophisticated tool, it's just a tool. And when you have a tool, it's really valuable when you use it right and you find the right use case for it. That's why I would like to focus on finding the right use case within this presentation. This is really important one. And when we discuss this with our client, it can be really challenging because when you have a business and you have like your line of work, you find a lot of tasks that you think might be a good candidate for using AI, but you have to choose something at the beginning. To narrow it down and maybe make it a little simpler, I would like to focus on like three main point of perspective that we usually start with. So the first one is impact. When you create your product or you create application within your company or for your clients, you want to focus on something that will have the biggest impact and will create the biggest difference. You can look at this from like two perspectives. So you can either look at the target group size. So if I create this product or if I maybe improve this one process, how many people will be targeted and how many people benefit from that? And the other perspective might be maybe by measured by time or by resources used. So you can find the places or processes that are most time consuming or create the biggest like financial impact for your business. The second point of view is effort. So when we want to change something or create something new, it takes some effort. And taking this into consideration is really important. When you want to work with AI, you need data. I believe that you all are familiar with that. And this might be a really good help for you when you're trying to find a use case. And you maybe should start with looking for the processes or for the use cases that have really good data coverage. So you can look at what data is available and what is the data quality. Then really nice help might be looking at the industry trends and maybe look for the solutions in their industry that are already there, and you may find an inspiration there. The third point is the hype. Hype might be a good and a bad thing, but in this presentation, I want to focus on this good hype that you want to create within your customers or your employees. And you want to create this innovation thinking, and you want people really to get the buy-in for this innovation you try to create. And this is something you should also consider. So look something that is not scary for your customers or your employees, and something that creates a quick win for you that you can build on later on, and also creates the executive and employee buy-in. So to sum it up, when you look for the right use case, you can start by looking for the things that are like the biggest pain points right now, or might have an influence on the biggest group of people, and prefer quick wins that can create executive and employee buy-in. Let me know what you think about that, and let me know what would be your reasons to implement AI in your company. These are really good reasons, actually, because dealing with a lot of data that is not structured might be a really good use case for you, and also boosting efficiency of processes and achieving higher efficiency is something I'm going to talk about actually in the real life use cases later on. And yeah, of course, like when you create higher efficiency and boost your processes, it can give you a really good competitive advantage. Okay, cool. Thank you for your input. And well, if we know how to find the right use case, and maybe we know what our motivation is, that might be the things you mentioned in the previous question, we should know how to choose the right solution. So when you finally decide you are going to implement AI, you have like two main options you should look at, and it's using existing solutions or going for like custom implementation. I would like to say here that custom implementation does not necessarily mean that you create your own AI model and you train it and you create the entire system. It can be done many ways, but the custom implementation here is that you're not using already existing application that is out there and you can find and buy a subscription and work with. But let's talk about the pros and cons of each one. So the main consideration when you create a new project or a new product is, of course, budget and timeline. When it comes to this point, with existing solution, you can use it as it is. So you can basically start using it from the moment you find the solution and register or purchase the subscription. You usually pay for a license or you pay for the usage, and this might actually be a cheaper option at the beginning, even though it may not look like that. really important thing here to consider is also that with this option, you have no implementation time and cost. So as I said, you can use it the way it is. On the other hand, when you are using like AI for predicting something heavily, so you have like really heavy usage, you have a lot of users, costs for like calling, let's say, some existing API might skyrocket. And in this case, when you count in the running costs and the implementation of your custom solution, it might actually be cheaper in this case. But you should also consider that, because when you decide to do something custom, you also have to maintain and test that. So when it comes to the timeline point of view, you have to count also the time for the testing phase, and you have to think about the time for like regular maintenance, while with the existing solution, this is done by somebody else. The important question for all of the businesses is security and regulations. There are different security requirements and regulations within different industries. But I want to state here that even though you really care about the security, or there might be some regulations that apply to you, it does not necessarily have to mean that you can only use your custom implementations. With many available tools and applications nowadays, you might be able to use them, but you really have to go through all of the terms of use and privacy policy and data processing policy and retention policy to make sure that the way it works is okay for you. But yes, this means that your data has to leave your organization. But for some of the solution, you may find out that using this solution does not mean that your data is stored somewhere outside. So what I want to say here is that you might still consider this, but you really have to do the back checking properly. However, when it comes to custom implementation, in this case, you have control over your data entirely, but it also brings this responsibility for creating a secure solution on your side. So don't forget about that. And then there is exactness. So there is this requirement really often that we want like super exact solution with extremely high precision. But what I want to bring here is maybe a little experience that it may not make such a big change as you think. For example, with one of our clients, we spent several months trying to improve the performance of AI system, and we managed that. We managed the increase of the accuracy by 15%, but none of the customers noticed. Because when you have a complex systems, you may not need as high precision or accuracy as you think, and there are other ways to achieve like the satisfaction and exactness of your system. However, with existing solution, you use it as it is, and there are no tweaks possible. But it's used by many people, which means that many people with different use cases and different data and different needs maybe are testing it already, so it's well tested. While when you go for custom implementation, you are required and you have to do testing, which may take a lot of effort. So just to sum it up, when you look for the solutions to your use case, you should consider the exactness of the system, the budget and timeline you have, and then you also have to consider a security constraint. But as we spoke about the quick wins at the beginning, for most use cases, you can start by leveraging existing solutions at the beginning, maybe tune and tweak and find out what's really the thing that your customers or employees want. And then when you have this experience and you have data, you can build your custom implementation or custom solution that is really targeted and will help you achieve your goal. This might be overwhelming, as I said at the beginning, but you can always, if you're struggling with that, you can always look for a partner that will help you with this problem and maybe help you answer these questions. So I know that I've been speaking about AI since the beginning, and this series is focused on AI. But what I really want to say here is that you should avoid using AI just for AI's sake. And well, there was an answer in Slido that said that AI is cool. I mean, yeah, it's really cool, but it's not always the answer. Sometimes what you need is not AI, and simple automation of processes might be a better solution. When I was preparing for this, ChatGPT suggested a really good metaphor, which is like scalpel versus hammer, and I think it's a really good one because with AI, it's really precise, but using and implementing it, it's really complex, and you need the right conditions for it to make it work. And automation is more like hammer, so it's really straightforward and effective, and it can get the job done, and it's much simpler to use. It's also cheaper. And what we should do is to look for the simplest and most effective solution. So when you are dealing with repetitive tasks that can be that can be managed, or each step can be decided based on specific criteria and conditions, automation may be more accurate and less expensive to do. So it's also an option. Okay, in this section, I would like to provide you with some real-life use cases. And these are the projects that came from the cooperation with some of our clients. And I would like to show you here what can be achieved in real life using AI and how can you start. The first project I would like to introduce here is the elf.ai system. This system is used for content moderation, and what AI does here, how is it used within the system, is that it gets the text and it understands the text. So it's one of the use cases I mentioned in the beginning. So the language processing, language understanding. And based on this language, AI determined whether it's harmful or non-harmful. What is really interesting in the system is that it also uses automation that I mentioned previously, because making this prediction using AI is more time consuming and resources consuming than deciding upon a certain simple condition. So how this system actually works is that at first we try to make automated solution based on predefined criteria. And if that solution cannot be made, then the text is moved for AI to decide. Using this system and implementing this automation and AI integration increased the amount of text that can be processed within the hour 3 times, which is super cool. And what we did even further is that this system also uses oversight by the humans. So there are some humans that are checking how automation and AI works, and by creating really good interface for them, we achieved increase in the precision of this human oversight decision and the amount of comments they can process by 15% within next 2 months. The second use case I would like to talk about here is from finance and investment world. So with this client, we've conducted the research with their clients, and we found out then that one of the barriers for them to invest their resources is that they are really confused about the financial situations, about the market. They don't understand some of the information in the market, and when there is a market drop, they get afraid because they don't understand that it's like natural part of investing. And when we try to find a solution to this problem, we came with idea that we can provide personalized market situation update, and using the language that user understand based on their maturity when it comes to investment and digital products, we can explain the situation to them in the way they will understand, using the language they already use and the language they will understand. And this can really help reduce their unknown and their fear of unknown. The third use case I would like to present here is the claims processing. With this client, it was actually really interesting because we were discussing completely different solution, but then when we spoke, we found out that their employees are spending a lot of time processing different claims, and it was really time consuming, and it took them several days to like process them. So we looked at the ways how this can be automated using AI, and we managed to reduce the time needed to process that, because based on existing data, this company had a lot of data on that. We were able to create a system that is able to decide on some of the claims completely on its own, and the other claims goes to people. However, using this automation created a lot of time for these employees to perform like person-to-person checks within their stores, and this had a really good impact because going to these stores helped them prevent and detect fraud that were causing a lot of financial losses. So now I would like you to get some idea on how to start with AI. And well, I have provided you with the perspective on how to find the use case, how to find a solution. And this is the checklist you can use to find out if you're ready to start, or you need some more time and it's too soon. So the first thing is that you need to be curious about AI and how it can improve your operations, product, or services. You being here means that you already are curious, so you can move to a second one, which is that you're starting your AI journey, or you're looking to optimize your current efforts. Then the third one is that you have identified a problem or opportunity where AI could create a meaningful impact. If you, after the information we have provided you with, if you find this use case, or you need help finding it, but you think it's there, it's also a really good start. And you need to be ready to dedicate time and resources to explore this potential. Because at the beginning, you really need to look at the options, you need to look at your data coverage, and you need to invest some time, but it's completely worth it. And also, as I said, you need this like innovation hype in your company and in your industry to make it work. So this might be like the first steps or this checks that you might consider and know if you're ready or not. Right now, you can ask some of the questions if you haven't asked them yet on Slido, and we can go through them. I think that I think that this first one was a part of the previous poll. So what are the current AI trends that businesses should pay attention to? It depends on your industry, but basically what applies to every industry and what was mentioned here is that if you're able to improve your operational efficiency, which is not the trend only now, it has been a trend like forever, it can really help and improve your business. When it comes to what also applies to many businesses is the personalization and hyper personalization. So that's why I also choose this use case because what customers want is to feel heard and to be treated as an individual being. And well, using AI can help you achieve that while making it scalable. So this is really a trend I would look at personally. Okay, how much data is needed for training effective AI models? I will speak more about tuning or fine tuning because this is mostly the use case. And it also and it really depends. It's hard to say, but you need a good data. You need a good coverage. So, for example, when you deal with certain situations, like you need examples for all of the use cases or all of the situations and the outcomes that might happen. So you not only need certain amount of data, but also quality. But when we go to numbers, from my experience, you can manage to achieve useful results when working with dozens of thousands of records, but it really depends. How can we assure data quality for training AI models? This is also a big one. So for these questions, just so you know, for these questions, it's really important to know the context. So if you need more information or need a more specific answer, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn, and we can speak to detail. But speaking in general, how to assure that is that you either know that you want to use AI for this task or this field within your business, and you can prepare for that in advance. So, for example, you want to do personalization for your customers. So you can start collecting structured data about them in the future for the future use. It's good to know what the groups of data you will need. So, for example, if you want to achieve good results, you need, as I said, speaking about customers, you need to cover all of the customer groups if it's possible. And you should collect enough samples for each group. So this might also be the way. When you already have data, it's really good to have someone to look at it. And even though it may not seem that it has good quality at the first sight, after some work, it might be still useful. Can you give an example of complex processes where AI accuracy will not have impact? It always has impact, some amount of impact. So the use case I mentioned was that the improvement of the model accuracy was about the 15%. But as I said, this complex process, so it was actually the text processing. For this use case, it didn't really matter, because when we looked at each part of the processing pipeline, we found out that the way all of these steps were designed, the amount of samples that were influenced by the AI accuracy was so low that in the big picture it did not made impact for the end users. So this might be an example. How do I ensure AI model perform well under real world conditions? There are several techniques to achieve that, but you need, as I said, you need to do a lot of testing. And when you do that, you have to cover, like in the best case, you cover all of the scenarios, all of the user groups, and it's a lot of testing. But what we usually recommend to our clients is to do like incremental rollout. So, for example, you combine like automation with using AI. So you can define the strict rules for, let's say, you've tested one use case properly, and you can decide that, okay, when I am dealing with this use case, it can go to AI, and AI can make a decision on its own, and we know it works good. For other use cases, you might let AI do the decision, but you still have, let's say, some people or other processes to ensure that if it's not correct, someone will be there to correct the result. And this way you perform testing without causing harm to users or your company. And you create a new data sample, you do the testing, and you can improve and incrementally roll out your product or your solution by letting AI make more and more decisions over time. I don't know how to start implementing AI. Any tips apart from those you already gave? When it comes to, well, I gave the tips that I thought are most relevant. But when it comes to implementation, so let's say you already have a use case, well, just do research. There are a lot of solutions out there you can start with. I recommend starting with something that already exists, so you can test how it works. You can see the results you can expect, and it can give you a really good idea of how it should work. By doing that, you can better understand the situation and how the processing works, and it can give you a good boost for maybe dealing with something more complex later on. Are Slovak financial companies ready to manage data with the help of AI? I ask mainly because of the natural fear of AI combined with potential data leakage. Well, this is a hard one. I think that, as I mentioned within the presentation, I think they might be ready, and well, from our experience, they are ready to start with the low risk use cases. For the use cases where the impact can be seen and can be there, but the risk is really low. So, for example, you will not start with I don't know, like AI-based financial advisor, because this is like really, really huge risk. Because if it goes wrong, it can cause you a lot of harm. But you can start with the low risk and maybe simpler use cases that may not need so much sensitive data, like the one I mentioned, for example. And by doing that and by making it work, you can create this environment, and you can create this trust within people that it can work and it can help. What is the impact of quantization and accuracy of AI models, and how can we avoid it? This is this one I would rather answer when I know all of the details, because it's also like dependent on the use case. So feel free to ask me this one directly on LinkedIn, and we can speak more about that. I feel implementing the AI in an organization is rather about changing the mindset of the leaders and ways of spreading the word. Have you got any tips on this? Well, yes, it's not only about changing the mindset of the leaders, it's also about changing the mindset of the people, because, well, let's be honest, it's a big change, and it's a big boom, and for some people it's still hard to understand how it works and what it actually means, and that creates a fear, which is like really, really natural. That's why I think that the best way to do that and best way to start changing that mindset is by doing the quick wins. So I think you don't want to start with the project that will cost you like 3 years of research and development and a lot of resources, because those people that might anticipate it or might fear or don't believe it's don't believe that it's a good change, they will not agree with that. You can start with something small, with like small changes in like everyday task, and choosing really small use cases and small problems to solve. And by doing that like incrementally, day by day, you can build this trust, because they will see that it works. They will see that it helps them personally, and this might help them change their perspective. But these leaders or executives, like they mostly want to see what do they get when they invest their efforts in something. So my tip would be that if you want to do something, like really be prepared about the exact results you achieve. So when you come to these leaders saying that I want to implement this chatbot because I think that people are spending a lot of time asking questions, it might be hard to measure what impact it makes. But when you come with the use case that has really easily measurable results, and you can see exactly what can be achieved and what will be the outcome and benefits, it might get you the better buy-in. What's the next big AI breakthrough you anticipate in the coming years? I think that there's a lot being said in this field, and there are like many things certainly coming. We see that the AI solutions are evolving every day. What I think we should really, this is just my personal opinion because it's hard to say, of course, but I think what we should focus on is how AI is going to change the way education works these days, because it might have a really good and bad impact on this one, and it will also have impact on the entire generation of people next on. So I think like this is the one to maybe look at. Okay, this was the last question. If you have any further questions, you can contact me on LinkedIn, as I said, or if you need any more clarification on the questions you asked here, feel free to ask. Okay, so I can see there is one more. Is it possible to analyze processes or suggest which path to take simply and without costly analysis? This is a really good question, and I might bring a little more light to it in the next thing I would like to say. So if you want to find this use case and you don't know how to do it, and you're afraid that doing a complicated analysis might take forever and cost you a lot of resources, you can use the product we have developed, which is called the AI Pathfinder, and it is like a consulting service we created with purpose of building meaningful AI innovations. So how it works is that we can basically guide you through these steps I mentioned previously. So how it usually works is that we look at your processes and we look at how it works within your organization. We have this screening meeting when we try to understand how your business operates, and then we have a joint workshop where we can define the goals you want to achieve with your innovations and maybe some pain points you already have. And then the phase you ask about, the analysis and solution design, is that when within the workshop, we usually identify 2 to 3 use cases, and then you can decide which one makes most sense for you. What we try to do then is to move forward quickly. So we try to look at this use case and find out whether this problem or this goal we stated together can be achieved using AI or any other way, because as I said before, AI is not always the answer. And we try to find if there is really simple solution we called proof of concept that can be developed within a few weeks or few months to test the concept out. So if you don't know how to start, or you're afraid that you don't have internal resources to doing the analysis on your own, feel free to use this service. You can find it also on our website, or contact me on LinkedIn, and I can give you more information about how it works. So thank you all for your attention. Thank you for being here with me. And as I said before, if you have any further questions, you can contact me on LinkedIn, and we can speak about them into more detail. Thank you.